This is the NAACP's Roy Wilkins Mid-Manhattan Branch Monthly General Membership Meeting and National Women's History Month Celebration Program, honoring women who have made significant contributions toward HIV and AIDS awareness. We come to you from the Harlem Hospital Auditorium on March 17, 2010.
Good evening and welcome to Harlem Hospital. And welcome to the NAACP Mid-Manhattan Branch General Membership Meeting. We meet every third Wednesday, once a month, and we decided to do something really, really special to the community by having this, our regular membership meeting here at Harlem Hospital in celebration of Women's History Month, and have a very special program around HIV and AIDS, which you'll be hearing about shortly. So I want to thank Dr. Palmer and Sylvia White and Harlem Hospital family for allowing us to use their home, their house, as they always open the doors for the community. This is a fabulous institution, one of the top hospitals in the country, not only in New York. I just see our former president, President Emeritus Billie Holiday Hayes, has just arrived. And I'm just going to announce some of the officers that are sitting with me on the dais. To my right is the Assistant Secretary, Marion Bell. She's also a district leader, Honorable Marion Bell. And to my left is our Secretary, Babette Hudson. And to her left is our First Vice President, Gary Johnson. There may be other officers that join us, but I also would like to ask the Executive Committee of the Mid-Manhattan NAACP, please stand up and be recognized. Executive Committee members, please stand. One of the reasons why we wanted to bring our general membership meeting out to the community is for that reason, to bring the meetings that we do out in the community. Because a lot of people are asking, we're 101 years old, what does the NAACP do? And a lot of people in the community are not aware about what we're doing. They heard a lot about it during our centennial celebration, but we thought that it'd be a great idea to do something like this, and we're going to probably be doing this more frequently, try to bring good programs and show you what Mid-Manhattan is doing as far as NAACP is concerned. There are 54 branches in the state of New York. There are 17 youth and college division chapters. And we are the biggest conference of the New York State carries nationally. So we have one of the largest conferences in the state, and we're part of Region 2. We have a conference coming up on March 27th and March 28th is the Region 2 Training Conference, which is going to take place in Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island. And we'll have information outside. There are a number of tables outside for membership. We're also celebrating the 100th anniversary of Life membership, as well as the 75th anniversary of the Crisis magazine. And the Life membership is like $75 or $750, but you can pay it off in 10-year segments. And general membership is $30 a year. So we are a bargain, and most organizations are charging a lot more than that. So I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we're going to start our meeting with meditation and prayer. I know one of our members is in intensive care, Claude Frazier, who was the owner of Windows Over Harlem. He is very, very sick and ill, and there are a number of people who are in the same capacity, so our prayers go with him. And I'll ask at this time, a silent moment of meditation. Thank you. My report's going to be brief. Yesterday, the New York State Conference had our lobby day in Albany. So it was our mobilization campaign where every year during the budget negotiations, we bring buses up to Albany to lobby our state legislative officials about what the NAACP wants to see in the budget and the things that we want to make sure stays forward, like education, restoring the $1.4 billion that is supposed to be cut. That's something that's unacceptable to the NAACP. And health care is something really that we are really carrying the torch for, because as you know, the debate with the reform bill is going on, and I think we're very close to having a health bill shortly. I'm working very hard to that as the President and as the Congress is doing right now as we speak, and gaining some support. I won't go into details about that, but one of the things that are happening in Albany, there are about 4 things that I want to let you guys know. One is the sugar tax. The governor wants to put a sugar tax on soda, which will bring in about $1 billion worth of revenue. The Senate said no, and they're in a sort of a no mode, just like the Senate in Washington is in a no mode, the Republicans. So one of the things that happened yesterday, the Senate's sort of been dogma because there was a race for Hiram Monserrat's seat. And one of the issues were if he wins, if Peralta was to pull that race out handily, he would be certified immediately and sworn in today as Senate, and that's what happened today, because he did win by 3-1 margin, so there's no need to count paper. So knowing that has happened, that's going to help move the legislation now. Now the Senate doesn't have an excuse, and we get some of these things done. The other issue is the wine, selling wine in the supermarkets. The liquor distributors across the country are adamant against it because they feel they're losing money. So it will bring more revenue into the state because it'll be more accessible to purchase wine. Some stores are 24 hours and 48 hours, but it happens in every state of the union, and in other countries you can go to the supermarket and buy wine, and I don't see where the problem with that is. So those are some of the 2 sticking points that are going on, along with education and the debate of public education in charter schools. So we met with our legislators yesterday. Hazel Dukes, our president, who's celebrating her birthday today, met with Speaker Silver, Majority Leader Sampson, and a lot of the legislators to let them know that the NAACP is ready to support programs like education and healthcare and some of the things that the governor is trying to do. We don't see a problem with the sugar tax. I think it's important that we get as much revenue as possible. And remember, when bills are passed, there's an opportunity to repeal these things. So when the state gets in a better shape, all this can be rolled back and repealed. That's why we have legislation and debate. So we're going to be supporting some of what the governor is trying to do and convince some of the legislators to also do the same thing, because the deficit is huge. Our state's in trouble, but we're not as much trouble as other states in the union. The governor has done a fine job of keeping us from bankruptcy. And he's doing really good work, and we support that. At this time, I'm going to ask my committee chairs to come forward. Let's see. We'll start with education, which is Harriet Forson and Deborah Harris.
The Education Committee is in full swing, and our program, which is Adopt a School program, is working. We have adopted Watley High School, and we work with the library there and the librarian. And what we do is encourage the kids. We bring in speakers, motivational speakers to speak with the children, to give them some idea of what's happening. And from that, they write poetry, they do essay writings, they go to plays, and the principal, Mrs. Hall, is very cooperative. We are planning to have a parent workshop on the NAACP in April. The kids are going around the city performing. Some of you might have seen them, the Watley players. And it is very enthusiastic. We also participated in Channel 13 program in education, which was very, very educational. We had Duncan, who was one of the main speakers there, and they decided to talk about public school, private schools, and charter schools, and the differences in them, and why the city is trying so hard to maintain public schools. You see that in Detroit, they've closed another 49 schools, which is 149 public schools that they've closed. They're closing a lot of them in New York. Watley was one of the schools that they wanted to put another charter school in, and we work with the principal, and we've got a reprieve. So we are working on those things in education that mean most to our children, because our children are our most valuable product. And Deborah will tell you those things that she's been involved with education.
Good evening, and I just wanted to mention, Harriet might have forgotten that during our May meeting, our May general meeting, we hope that some of you will join us, because those Watley students are scheduled to perform for us at that meeting, and I think that would be a treat if you're able to be there. The branch has been very involved with education in terms of what's going on around the city. As you might have heard, the NAACP has joined a couple of lawsuits regarding, one is regarding class size, and one is regarding that very item that Harriet was talking about, the closing of schools. And so if you watch your news and newspapers, you'll see what the progress of those lawsuits are. And in addition to that, we've been meeting with the Metropolitan Council of Branches, and one of the initiatives there is to do a survey, to have a questionnaire for parents around the state, essentially, to find out what their issues are and to talk to them about if they're being impacted by charter schools or by school closures, etc. We've decided to do that in September when the students are coming back in and the parents will be available. So again, we'll keep you posted on that, but it should be very exciting, and we'll let you know the results of that after that's done. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Dottie Seals, Chair of the Membership Committee, and a hard worker in fact. I realize I belong to the NAACP most of my life because my godfather was an official in Florida during the time when the NAACP was really needed there. So I started out working with him very early. We plan to have a membership drive in the spring, possibly in May. We don't have all the information to give you, but if you are a member, you will be getting that information. But I want to explain how this will, with this membership drive, those of you who are already members, you can use that membership drive to give the application to somebody else. Now, everybody must have some deal one they want to join. And those people who are not members, when they come to the, if you intend for it to be a brunch or a reception, the fund for the occasion will also give you a membership. So, and you eat, you have to have the drink, good conversation, good music, and for those of you who are members, you will be hearing more about it because it will come out in your information that comes from every month. Now, one thing, if you have a place that you would like us to come, for instance, we go to Canaan Baptist Church once a month. We were invited by the pastor. The only thing he had to do was invite us. We come over there, we bring our banners, we bring our applications, we sit and we get members. So if you have some organization you'd like us to come to, just let us know and tell us who to talk to, and we'll come with our applications. If you have applications, we'll travel. Glad to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
My name is Delmas Costin. I'm the co-chair of the Legal Redress Committee. I work with Anna Lewis, who is ill tonight and can't make it. In keeping with the theme of having Mid-Manhattan branch come out to the community and have events, the next general body meeting is going to be sponsored by the Legal Redress Committee. It's going to take place on April 21st in the Harlem State Office Building. And the focus of that meeting is a criminal justice forum featuring law enforcement agencies. And, Beverly Wheeler, who I believe most of you know or will know, pulled this together. She was able to get in touch with 5 different law enforcement agencies. So we're going to have the New York City Police Department, high-ranking officials come in from there. We're also going to have officials from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Drug Enforcement Agency, and from the Department of Justice. My understanding is that this is the first time that anybody can ever remember all 5 of these agencies being in the community, being there to talk to members of the community, to find out what it is that we're concerned about, and also to try to figure out how they can partner with us to make our communities better and safer. The Legal Redress Committee meets every Wednesday after the week following the general body meetings. And the purpose of the committee, as I like to think of it, is to help people figure out where they need to go when they have a problem. A lot of times we have walk-ins and also members of the NAACP who come in who have issues with housing, Social Security, employment discrimination, housing issues. And we have 2 lawyers, we have a social worker, and we have a good cadre of people who are willing to work and help resolve problems. So if you have not joined the committee, we're always welcome to come and join and participate. And each meeting, we always have a different guest speaker. Last month, Anna Lewis came in and she talked about her new position. I believe she works with the Office of Professional Licensing, and she is an investigator. So if there's complaints against someone who has a license in New York State, she investigates, and specifically she deals with medical doctors. I gave a presentation about labor and employment discrimination and what to do if you feel that you're a victim of discrimination. So we always have something that's relevant to the community. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you guys certainly at our next general body meeting.
Good afternoon, my name is Tercetus Davis. I'm the chair for the Veterans Affairs Committee. My co-chair is not here, she had to go to a family emergency. We had a meeting today and we decided that we definitely will be having a fundraiser, and we secured a place. We're just waiting for the exact date. And we also are going to go out into the community to recruit more members that are returning home from the war. We have spoke to a member of the American Legions, and they're going to allow us to use their place for the meeting place so that we have a regular place to meet on a monthly basis. Also, we had 2 members of our committee that was honored for Women's History Month. And it was Gwendolyn Knotts and it was Miss Coleman. And neither one of them is here right now, but I thought that was a wonderful thing that someone recognized members of the NAACP Women's Chapter. Also, we are participating in a Women's History Month at the Veterans Residence at 22 East 119th Street. All are welcome. And we have members of the community that will be honored. So we ask people to come out and support us in this affair. It's at 12 p.m. It's from 12 to 3 p.m. at 22 East 119th Street at the Veterans Residence on 119th Street. And this committee is pretty new. We're looking for new members to participate in this committee. So please come join us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Samuel Lagros. I'm a youth advisor at the Mid-Manhattan branch. I'm just here to update you on several of the events that have been taking place for the past couple of months. First of all, it's good that we're here to celebrate Women's History Month, as we know that it's 51% of our population have been plagued by HIV and AIDS, and it's very important that we continue to spread information and be sure that our community is aware of what's going on. Second, we had a great and productive youth advisory meeting February 20th at the Hilton. We got to speak about the Census 2010 and the mailing of the initiatives that will be taking place. Our programmatic activity committee has been working on ways to fight childhood obesity with dietary plans and different activities for the children. We also have our MTA Action Committee. This past Friday, I was at a city council hearing speaking on behalf of the students. We have to fight the MTA's, cessation of student metro cars. Have to be sure that our youth can move around the city, get good education, and be sure that they're actually being involved in the communities in a positive way. These next coming weeks, we have our Albany mobilization taking place this weekend. We have our Youth Work Committee coming up March 20th. The 26th and the 27th in Rhode Island, we will be having our leadership training. In May, we will be celebrating the essence of a Black woman, and this is one of the best venues to be actually focusing on how important Black women are to our community. We have quarterly meetings that will be taking place, and I guess the big event of the year is our annual convention in Kansas City, Missouri, taking place July 11th to the 15th. Thank you. Have a good night.
2 weeks ago, I represented the branch and the state as the New York State Chair for Economic Development. And we submitted testimony to the state as they try to revise the MWBE legislation. As many of you know, our governor has been trying to increase the participation of women and minorities in state contracting. And during his administration, those numbers have risen significantly. Now, NAACP has done a lot of work over the years in terms of traditional civil rights, but we also consider economics a civil right. And so we're working very eagerly on that, and we reach out to those who want to participate in the committee to come and speak to me after the meeting today, and we'll be meeting next Thursday at the branch at approximately 6:30 p.m. And there'll be more information then. Once again, thank you for coming.
President Publicity.
Good evening. I'm going to give my report from here. Please excuse me for sitting. We would like to definitely acknowledge Ms. Benita Jones, who is in the rear of the auditorium today. She's a member of the branch and also a licensed individual from the MNN network. So this event is being recorded. You will be able to see it and view it both on the MNN channel. If you have public access and cable, you will also be able to watch it on YouTube. Our meeting in January, which focused on the census, is already posted and has been viewed and aired on the MNN channel. And we will continue to work on finding other methods to give more awareness to all those who have access to different media. We're going to start something on Facebook. We will be putting more information on the internet. We will connect you and link you to the NAACP in every way we can think of. So get ready. You're going to get overloaded. So, and welcome. Thank you for being here.
Welcome Second Vice President Yolanda Payne, who just joined us. And I'll ask a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The meeting is now adjourned. We will now begin our health program. Well, welcome. Get ready, fasten your seatbelt. We have a very important program, a very exciting program. This is a topic that is prevalent in our community. It's on the rise. You'll hear more about that later. But it's my duty to introduce Dr. John Palmer, whose home we are in, and he'll tell you a little bit about what's happening at home hospital. But I want to welcome Dr. Palmer to the stage. He is a terrific friend. We've worked very well together. And please join us. Thank you for having us, Dr. Palmer.
Thank you very much and welcome this evening. We hope that you have an interesting evening discussing this topic. One of our leading minds and doctors, Sharon Manheimer, will be discussing HIV with you. If there's anybody who knows about that subject, it is Sharon. So please relax, enjoy what you can, but the knowledge will be disturbing. HIV continues to grow. It continues to attack people who are not protecting themselves. We continue to depend on denial to try to keep us safe, and denial is no longer working. And we need to figure out better ways to do that. People of color especially have been left to their own devices to think this through, and be very clear that if we don't think it through for us, it won't be thought through. So again, welcome to Harlem Hospital tonight. Enjoy yourself. I want to thank you, Jeff, for asking to come to the hospital. Certainly we're open for you anytime you need us to be here. Good luck in all the work that you do. Certainly your work is going to benefit us, and we're here again to be supportive as we can. Thank you very much.
Rejoicing Good evening, everyone. And thank you all for inviting me to be part of this wonderful meeting tonight. And as Dr. Palmer mentioned earlier, some of the statistics I'm going to present can be a little sobering, but I hope in the end I leave you with some ways we can turn things around and some hope for the future. So today I'm going to give a little bit of an overview of where things are with the HIV epidemic, pandemic in the world today. Also here at home in the U.S., differences in HIV, thank you, by race, ethnicity. Also, since this is a meeting about women, I wanted to focus a little bit about the HIV epidemic in women in the U.S. today. A little bit about risk factors, and then come closer to home, HIV in New York, HIV here in Harlem, and then leave you with some recent breakthroughs and things we can do to improve outcomes of HIV today. So again, some of the sobering statistics. This is where we were as of the end of 2008. This is World Health Organization data. And you could see at that time there were over 33 million people living in the world with HIV infection. And you could see the great majority are in sub-Saharan Africa, over 22 million people. And that's really the epicenter of the epidemic today. But we do also have over 1 million cases in the US. And New York is one of the main epicenters of HIV here in the US. So again, over 33 million people living with HIV, and there were 2.7 million new infections in 2008 alone, and 2 million deaths in from HIV in 2008. And of the 33 million people, adults and children, almost half are women. And this slide just shows that the number of people living with HIV continues to grow and has grown since the beginning of the epidemic in the 1980s. But there have been a lot of significant improvements in the course of HIV infection. I'm sure many people have heard of the different cocktails and treatments that are prolonging people's lives, and I'll talk about that a little more later. But there still does exist a really tremendous health disparity with HIV in the U.S., where minorities are really disproportionately affected by this infection and also by deaths from HIV. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that at this meeting tonight. So you could see on this slide here, the yellow line shows the proportion of cases that are of AIDS cases among minority races or ethnicities from the beginning of the epidemic in the mid-1980s, when about 40% or so of AIDS cases occurred among minorities, to the most recent time when there were statistics, it's over 70% of AIDS cases were occurring among minorities. And this slide focuses specifically on blacks or African Americans in the U.S. with AIDS. So of the million plus AIDS cases reported to the Centers for Disease Control through 2007, so during the whole epidemic, blacks or African Americans accounted for 41% of that total, of the total AIDS cases since the beginning of the epidemic. 60% of the women with AIDS in the U.S. have been women. 59% of those who acquired HIV through heterosexual risk were African Americans, and 59% of the children infected with HIV who came down with AIDS were African American in the U.S. And in the year 2007 alone, among AIDS cases, 47% were in blacks. And this slide really highlights the disparity. You can see on the left, it's the racial or ethnic breakdown of AIDS cases, and you can see in the pinkish purple that African Americans account for 48% of AIDS cases, whereas on the right, they only represent 12% of the population in the US. So again, they're disproportionately being infected by HIV and acquiring AIDS. So just to summarize, the number of persons living with HIV does continue to grow, and blacks and women account for a growing proportion of HIV/AIDS cases in the U.S. But there have been many successes and improvements in HIV therapies and outcomes, but still more can be done to prevent HIV infection, also to promote earlier diagnosis, reduce stigma of HIV, and enhance access to care. And again, one way to reduce stigma is to encourage routine testing, which is what we try to do here at Harlem Hospital. Test everyone at every medical visit, regardless of risk, and that's one way to sort of destigmatize the HIV disease. Thank you all for your attention.
We're going to bring it out to the part of the program that a lot of you have been waiting for. What I would like to do before we present Brenda with her award is just give you a little taste of life for Brenda Curry.
Both parties. So I told him, I said, let's you and I go to Connecticut and start over again. So we did. We went up to Connecticut. I started working at one job, and he started working at a restaurant. We found a place. His mother helped us find an apartment. I was really enjoying myself. Really had a good time until this man got sick. I don't know if I asked him, but I'm thinking that he told me he had pneumonia. And I'm visiting him, going home, not even thinking about nothing. You know, I know he's going to get better, he's going to come home. When he did come home, he told me, he said, you know, I have HIV. So he said, you need to go and see my doctor. I was nervous the whole time. Working and nervous, working and nervous. He told me over the phone. He says, yeah, you have it too. I was just too devastated. I got immediately scared. Immediately I thought I was going to die, because he had told me I need to get my affairs in order because I didn't have too much time left. When he told me he had the virus, he also told me in the same breath that he was gay. That was it. That was it. I ran from him. I never saw him again. Never saw him. I don't know if I got it because he was homosexual or because we were using drugs. I'm drug-free, I'm alcohol-free, and I'm truly living now. There are things that I want to soar, play in, do, but this neuropathy, it seems to stop me somehow. I look forward to 20 more years. I really do. And I look forward to the aging process, which I used to be extremely afraid of. Getting old meant death, and I was afraid of death. Getting older, I realized all of these things is what nature brings. People die. And there's a sort of beauty and a sweet ending to that.
All over 10 years. And, you know, we often talk about music and God and a lot of things. So Brenda, this is my tribute to you and the ladies who are being honored here tonight. I know you like gospel. I'm going to do a little bit of gospel and a little bit of jazz, okay? Oh, yeah. I'm on the battlefield. for my Lord. And I promised him that I would serve him till I die. I am on the battlefield for my Lord.
This plaque is presented to Brenda Lee Curry in recognition of her dedication and courage to those women infected and affected by HIV/AIDS. For the National Women's History Month, Women and Girls HIV Awareness Day. Jeffrey E. Eaton, President. Babbitt R. Hudson, Chair, Health Committee, March 17, 2019.
I'd like to thank the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. I appreciate this honor. It really means a lot to me. And I want to thank my mother and my family who came in to support me, and my friends. I have two friends here that I grew up with, Jim Terrain and Marietta Bussey. Thank you. And Janice, thank you very much.
For those of us who know Brenda, we're proud as always when we're in her company. And thank you for accepting me. I guess when a lot of you got the flyer and it said love in the time of HIV, you said, what the heck is this? Why would somebody name a meeting? The inspiration came from President Jeffrey Eaton, who couldn't sleep one night. He was up flipping the stations of his television and ran across this documentary that I also was up watching, but I stayed up on purpose. Jeffrey couldn't sleep. And the name of it was Love in the Time of HIV. I think that a lot of us who are in this business, such as myself, those of you that know me, know that I'm the director of an HIV program. And I have seen patients come and go. I've seen the changing times of HIV. And every now and then we run across women like Brenda and the two young women that you're going to see in the next film who work very hard. Sometimes they get their props and sometimes they don't. They don't do this work for the props. They do it because it's something that needs to be done. I ask you to watch Love in the Time of HIV, and then you will meet our next two honorees, Christina Rodriguez and her mother, Susan Rodriguez. Love in the Time of HIV.
Over 100,000 people are living with HIV in New York City. Christina Rodriguez and her mother Susan are two of them.
I don't remember when I found out when I had HIV. I don't know.
I accepted my diagnosis, but when they told me that my daughter was positive, it just was like the most horrible feeling you can ever get.
It's just a little weird, just growing up, especially when you're a teenager, because you want all that freedom, whereas you're never really free. Last year at school, my junior year, was just, it's like a big blur now. I had gone through a depression because, I don't know why, thought wasn't bad enough. I had the meds that were still making me sick and stuff.
Depression, my daughter Samantha went through the same thing. I specifically don't attribute it to being HIV positive, but I'm sure being a teen, going through puberty and having HIV on top of it absolutely affects her. Growing up is tough, man. Teens are tough. I wouldn't be a teen to save my life again.
I would totally love television and media just to show people with HIV just normally. Sob stories just it's sad, but it doesn't even hit home for me because I would not use my life as a sob story.
Talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Christina and Susan Rodriguez. Presented to Christina Rodriguez in recognition of your courage and dedication to young people affected by HIV/AIDS on the National Women's History Month, Women and Girls HIV Awareness Day, and NAACP. To Susan Rodriguez, in recognition of your dedicated work at Smart University, nurturing women infected and affected by HIV and AIDS, National Women's History Month, Women and Girls HIV Awareness Day, Jeffrey Eaton, President, Babette Hudson, Health Committee Chair.
Well, I haven't prepared anything, but everybody knows that I do things off the cuff. First of all, I want to thank the NAACP for this really prestigious award. I'm just really overwhelmed about all of this. And I want to, most of all, thank my family, who has really been, a constant support, and been there for me, as well as my good friends and especially my best mate, Sam Claire, who everybody knows. I actually had known Sam long before I started Smart, and I'm so blessed to have her, at Smart now, because she helps me in every single way in taking care of the women in my program. And of course, I want to thank the women at Smart, because I think I probably would not be here without them. And I just see a few in the audience, and we've gone on this journey together for many, many years, and they're, women who have started with me and come back to Smart, and, I feel like they're my family as well, and I want to thank them for being there for me through the hard times and the joy and the graduations. So thank you very much for this award.
We want to thank everyone for coming. I hope that this was an important event for everyone in this room. You've met some wonderful women involved in HIV and AIDS. Go out, tell your friends, remind everybody how important it is to get tested. If you know women, as I said before, who can benefit from Smart University, if you missed when Susan gave the address, they do have a table out back with information, so please feel free. Our President, Jeffrey Eaton, will close out our meeting.
As you can see by Dr. Meinheimer presentation, this is a very serious problem that continues to devastate our communities and break up our families. So take this information, pass the word around your friend. That's our job as NAACPers, as Midnight Hatters, to bring the information to the community and make sure the community gets the information out. And we have some wonderful people, some stars, Brenda, Christina, and Susan. These are some wonderful people who did not give up. Did not give up. And a lot of us do give up on the simple things of life. I couldn't sleep. I channel searching, this thing popped up like God put it in my head. And like it was a couple of days ago, we had our executive board meeting, I said, I got a great idea. And I want to thank Babette and the Health Committee Chair, Wilma Brown, our co-chair, really hard to talk about something that we were supposed to be talking about and not to be afraid of, so go get tested. What you didn't see in the film is, the film also takes you to Africa, where there's a young woman about 18 years old who was the British version of American Idol. She was a finalist. She was about to win. Then it was disclosed that she was AIDS. She had full-blown AIDS, and she was voted off the show. And they talk about her life, how it impacted on her, and the village in Africa where she is, and also talk about in her own home, she has a younger sister. who does not practice safe sex. And even though what happened to her older sister, she continues to be not to practice safe sex, and she struggles with it. That's in the film. It also takes you to England, where there's a couple, where a white couple, a heterosexual man, who got the disease through he's the hemophobia, and he got the disease through blood transfusion. And it shows that they're trying to have a baby. And now there's new technology now, what they call washing of the sperm, where they can clean the sperm and separate out the disease, where you can actually become pregnant. And it talks about the struggle of them going through this process. It's a very, very expensive process. You can almost lose everything trying to get through this. And they went through it twice, and she still has not gotten pregnant, but they have not given up. And that's sort of what the film is all about, love in the time of HIV and AIDS. I just want to make 2 quick announcements. I'm going to ask Kendall Reed to come forward. She was a little late. We have a very important luncheon that we need to get this information out. Kendall, talk about our honorees, come quickly. And also, you got your census forms in the mail. You know, our last meeting we talked about the 2010 census and how important. It is so important because we can't fund programs like HIV without you filling out the census form. So you got it in the mail, 10 questions, 10 minutes. It's actually the last question that takes 10 minutes. The rest of them, you fly right through them. But it's important that we are counted because we're not counted. And New York lost a lot of money, which would have helped programs like this, Smart University, and also help doctors like Dr. Meinheimer continue to solve these problems. Kendall?
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to invite, I'm quite sure everybody knows, we have our annual luncheon for the NAACP Mid-Manhattan branch, September 11th, 2010. Our honorees for that particular lunch will be Mary Red, Jackie Rowe Adams, Denny Farrell, Roscoe Brown, Billie Holiday Hayes, Jamel Joseph, Philip Banks Jr., and Kendall Reed. We're also, our luncheon is going to be $100, and we're taking ads in now. We're taking all money in now. So if people want to pay in advance, we're willing to accept all monies and donations at this point in time. And also, we're having a fundraiser also on May 1st. The branch is going to Atlantic City. The cost for the bus trip is $45. In return, you will get $35, $25 back in return. So also, we like everyone who would like to participate in our bus ride, they can give money to the NAACP Mid-Manhattan branch, and we are located at 270 West 96th Street. Okay? That's it.
We want to say it, but I'm going to say it. We are broke. The economic, when the market dropped, Wall Street collapsed, and the foreclosure, and all these things happened all at once, we lost a lot of money. So we weren't able to raise the money that we usually would raise. We also put on the greatest show on earth with the Centennial, so a lot of the resources went to putting that show on in New York. So we're down to about $1,500. So even if you want to pass ahead or write a check today, we will take it, because this is how we put programs on like the one you just saw. These programs cost money. You know, you rent these videos, you have to pay for it, you have to pay the royalty. But we can't bring programs like this to you unless we have the funds to do it. And that's why we have it in the fundraiser on September 11th. That's why it's $100 in this open bar from 11 to 4. It's a bargain, but it's important that we continue to bring these programs to you, because that's what we do. But we can't do it without your help. Thank you. So, buy a raffle, $1. I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank Dr. Palmer and Sylvia White and the Harlem Hospital staff. Let's give them a rousing applause. They didn't charge us for the room. They didn't charge us for the sound. They didn't charge us to use the cafeteria. Okay? And we want to thank them very much. We have a bus leave for the branch on September 11th. Round trip, $15. Our prices don't go up. They're bargain. Thank you and good night.
Hi, I'm Janice Swad, sweetie, and I am just honored to have been a part of and in the assembly of the honored women.
But I didn't know anything. And then she said, well, ring it.
HIV and AIDS. I am a person who is a long-term survivor of the virus. I am a friend of Brenda Lee Curry's. I know of Smart University. I saw her documentary film one time, 4 in the morning. I'm so grateful to the NAACP, which I have been a member. I am a survivor of a murdered child. So I had joined NAACP as support and help. Due to circumstances right now, I'm not a member, but I will rejoin, and it's just such an honor to have been amongst my beautiful people. Film was beautiful. Thank you.
I'm Billy Holiday Hayes. I was just the past president, and I want to thank President Jeffrey. This was a marvelous meeting. I enjoyed the program very much, and I think he's doing an excellent job. Okay, this is it.
Hi, my name is Clarence Scipio Henderson. I'm here representing Gay Men's Health Crisis, Minority Task Force on AIDS, and New York City AIDS Housing Network, and all the people who are dealing with the HIV and AIDS experience in their lives. You know, I want to congratulate Brenda Curry on the great work that she's done, and I want to commend the NAACP for supporting all the efforts that and causes that go forth to help in prevention and education regarding HIV and AIDS. Okay, and we need a political action committee transforming harm into safety. I'll be there this year. Clarence Scipio Henderson. Thank you now.
All right. Good evening. My name is Tyson Tanner. I'm a member of the NAACP. Basically, I thought it was this evening was extremely important, being that the youth are now speaking up. I've never seen anything where youth are speaking out about HIV. So I think that's very important to become aware at a very young age, so you can be very much so aware of what's going on and exactly how you can protect yourself and keep yourself as healthy as possible to maintain a life as close to normal as possible. So I think that was very important, because most of the information that's presented out there is always about adults and adults speaking to other adults, whereas it's not always about children. So this is the first time I've ever seen that. I cannot share their background. I'm not HIV positive at all, but I do sympathize with them, and I do wish them very much great success in regards to reaching out to many women and all people of different men as well. All right. So that's what I just would like to share with you this evening. Thank you very much.
My name is Jeffrey Eaton. I'm the president of Mid-Manhattan Branch. We hosted this program this evening. But I also was former chief of staff to Councilman Phil Reed, who was HIV affected for over 25 years, who recently passed away last year. I'm also deputy chief of staff to Councilman Charles B. Rangel. We have a bill that Mr. Rangel introduced last year called the National Black Clergy HIV/AIDS Bill. And today, as we're having this program today, they're down in Washington. C. Virginia Fields is meeting with ministers from across the country, particularly New York and across the areas where HIV is affected in our communities. And that's an ongoing bill. I hope that bill is passed. It's a significant bill of funding that will address some of the alarming statistics that we got today. It's alarming to me that in Harlem alone, we may be 40 or 50% of the HIV affected males and females are right in Harlem. So my next door, I live in Harlem, so my next door neighbor may be affected and don't even know. So these are some really alarming, especially among women, and it's devastating that it's going up. Even though we're finding better ways to treat it, there's still people getting HIV and AIDS affected, and that's something we have to do about. We have to have more programs like the one we had this evening. So we're going to continue to do that as the Mid-Manhattan Branch continues to bring quality programs to the community that makes them more aware, and also give them the information to arm them to go out in the community to transfer that information out. So thank you very much, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, for being with us again this evening.
Hi, my name is Marion Bell. I'm a member of the Mid-Manhattan branch. I'm also a district leader in East Harlem, and I'm very, very proud of what we did here today. This is my boy, my Harold. Wait, and he was sticking himself with that HIV symbol, AIDS symbol, because we are aware. My one sadness right now is that my mother didn't live this long to benefit from the one-stop service models that they're offering and the less than cocktails that people have to take now. And when she died of AIDS, this kind of information wasn't out there and available. She was infected and she lived in Florida. She was an HIV/AIDS activist in Florida, and we never got a chance to see her benefit from any of the progress that has come about. And I wish that she had had that opportunity. I may have learned more about her and had the opportunity to be with her, and I'm glad my boy's learning some stuff today.
I think it's important that we educate the young people about the epidemic of AIDS and HIV that is sweeping our community. Unfortunately, there weren't a lot of young people here today to see this presentation, but I think, nevertheless, that what the NAACP is doing is a step in the right direction.